Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're going to be playing mid-sword. I just want to give this another swing, so why not? I mean, it's not going to hurt to try mid-sword again. I'm not sure how well it's going to perform today, but let's just find out. Shouldn't do too bad, I would imagine. I mean, mid-sword usually isn't the worst thing in the world. Usually pretty consistent. The only really bad matchup is probably going to be against Shadow, which of course is our first matchup here. With Shadow absolutely dominating the meta, there isn't much room for variation at the moment, which is to be expected. You know, every meta has its ups and downs. Last time it was Daria and Roach, this time it's Shadow and Dragon. Alrighty. The whole solid swing is really solid, especially since we went first. Means anything this Shadow could possibly play can easily be killed off in the first turn. Unfortunately, I have nothing turn 3, which is going to give them time to build something. The only advantage is I do have Geno turn 4, which basically is as good as an evolve counter. And then Floral turn 5, most likely. No, we've got another whole swing. That's amazing for this deck. This way, we should be able to easily play around stuff. Alright, zombie party. I'm not too worried about that at all. I'm actually very tempted just to play the floral here. Although, I do risk losing it because they do have the evolve first. So we might play Geno, just for the board presence. Keeping up that tempo with this deck is quite important. Alright, and they didn't play anything, which is actually pretty good. Knowing what Shadow runs, turn 5, the worst thing they could possibly pull on me would be Cerberus. Maybe a Phantom Howl, but I doubt they're going to use that with only 4 shadows and waste all their damage. Interesting, Goblin Princess. Not a card I'd normally expect to see here. So it looks like they will trade with that. Just into what is the question? Alright, into that one. Makes sense, I guess. Alright, we do get another Geno, which is actually not a bad play here. We can just trade off with those, make sure Catacomb can't have anything to deal. If we get a solid start, dealing with Shadow isn't so bad. It's only with a Brick Tan that you really can't do much. Death Breath, alright, so they are going to try and set up for Etika here, which we should easily be able to counter. Alright, so dealing with this is important. I probably should have went a different way about it. So this isn't going to be too bad, I guess. I do want to make sure this dies, so we will just go this way about it. We'll get the rest of our damage to their face. Putting them on exactly 5, which is within Albert range. And within Fanged Blade Slayer's range, once you evolve. So even if they do put up more wards, Fanged Blade should kill them off. Yep, and there's another ward. And a Catacomb. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw an evolve. Alright, so Fanged Blade is going to close this game out pretty easily here. Albert would also close it out by just ramming the Goblin King. I think Fanged Blade is the fancier option, so we may as well just throw that out. There we go. Wow, we actually managed to beat our Shadow. How good's that? It only took a mid-bloody sword deck to beat it for once. Plus, they did have a pretty rough start with me killing everything they played for the first few turns. Alright, so we'll go into our next game here. And we'll see what we can do. Alrighty, Forest. Would be interesting. We do have the swing, which is really nice. We may even keep the Grimnir, and we also drew the Unsheathed, which makes a really solid turn 1 play. So worst case, I get made, and then I counter the May with the swing. And we've already guaranteed ourselves 1 damage in this game. Alright, since they played nothing, Maid Leader is actually going to be half decent. You know, it's not too bad when they play nothing. Maid Leader pulling the Albert is always a nice thing to pull. Alright, we may just play whole swing here, just to get rid of that, and deal 2 more damage. Alright, turn 4 drop. So, Floral, probably not, just because of what it is. I'm trying to think of a really good turn 4 drop. Maybe Geno, because then that would trade quite nicely with this. And of course, we don't draw into anything, so we are just going to play out the Cyclone. That way, at least they've got to try and deal with it, which isn't so bad. Of course, they have their own Cyclone, meaning they can easily deal with this. We may have to push out an Albert just to keep up here. Maybe worth a shot. I mean, Albert will deal with it. Saving the Evolve may be worthwhile as well. That, or I go in for a different approach and I just use Dance of Death and then trade. I think we might do that. Yeah, there we go. And then I can easily hopefully use Command to get the extra damage, plus an Albert. That, or we just go Albert and Unsheath. That's also another, what, 6 damage. Annoying little card. I'm trying to think of the most effective way to use this right now, and I'm thinking Floral, honestly. I mean, the only easy way to deal with this Floral is going to be Will of the Forest. And they are now in a decent range. Aldor's Command is a nice ward, which will protect me from a Roach combo turn 7. That actually might be worth playing next turn if they do clear some of this board off, which I guess they would, so that's good. 6, I don't know, will that be enough to clear? No. That should leave that up, right? Yeah, nice. So with the Aldor, thinking, don't think it matters which way I do this. I was thinking maybe the 2-drop could have worked for a 1 damage poke, but I don't think it makes any difference here. Because the Albert's going to be plenty enough to deal with this, hopefully. Now I just need a way to kill that off. Alright. Fortunately, that is out of range of most of my stuff here. Alright, but they concede. Mid-sword doing its job for once. Outplaying the opponent even to the later of the game. Alright, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. As always, you will find the deck list in the description below, so make sure to check that out along with any other important links. Also, make sure to head over to my Twitter and follow that over there. There's always going to be important information, videos, anything else that you could possibly need to know will always be posted to my Twitter. You can also check out my Twitch, which is also streaming, and we are now affiliated with a bits option, so you can donate through bits, which is pretty cool. You can also just check out the streams on YouTube, as always. That's not going to change for now, unless we end up being partnered in the future. So if you guys enjoyed this video, and I will catch you guys next time. See ya.